a really tough spot mentally. And it was like one of the first few times I actually self-harmed myself. I ended up cutting my wrists, and I like walked into my mom's room to get Band-Aids and stuff. And she like asked me what was wrong and everything. And when she saw like what happened, I think she didn't react the way I guess a parent should react. But of course she knows better now. Like that was when like years ago. So I don't hold that against her at all. I think she just needed to learn. But it was weird because it was like I basically like ruined all my chances in that moment for my future. And I, like that kind of stuck with me and everything. And I was like, oh dang, like I messed up bad. Like I'm a bad kid. Like that was me. But I remember like later that night, she came up to me and like she talked to me and like she was like, what's wrong? Like why would you do that to yourself? Like she was actually like trying to understand what was going on. And I was like, and like I didn't know how to explain it.
So she knew what you did when she saw it the bed.
Like I think it was just the moment. In the moment, like she didn't know how to react. And then later on, maybe like she thought about it, recollected herself, and like came and talked to me finally. Okay. But that was definitely like when I started to realize I have I was like, there's something wrong like with me. And like my school counselors picked it up, everything. They were like, maybe you should try therapy, blah, blah, this and that. And I just came to the conclusion I have depression. I suffered from depression and really bad anxiety. And it's just like, it was really weird because on the outside, everyone sees this really exciting, go-getting person, like athletic, competitive, all this. And then, but when it's just me on my own, that's like, I am my worst enemy. At the end of the day, like I was like, oh yeah, like people like you and stuff, like you're doing good. Like, but when I would come home and like be by myself, it was just a whole different story. Or I was just like, oh frick, this is like different. This is weird. My oldest brother, he ended up going to serve his mission. He served in Toma. And so that was like, oh, like he's gone. Like, it's cool. Like he was usually the strict one. So like, we're good. Yeah. Like we get to like a little bit of freedom, I guess. Free. But even after he came back from while he was on his mission, my older sister, she ended up like moving out and stuff after she graduated high school. And then like for me and my younger siblings, it was kind of like we started to see a pattern. Yeah. It was like, oh, like as soon as like they all get the chance, they just kind of want to leave. And stuff, which is like totally understandable. Like, like I was like, yeah, I'd probably do the same thing. Like when I become their age. My second older brother, he did the same thing. He graduated high school. He moved to Hawaii, and he ended up living there. And he ended up leaving to serve his mission and everything as well. Well,
just add to that. Just put out to everybody watching. Usually, I mean, if it was any other family, it'd be normal to leave at 18. But usually, Polynesian families, we stay longer.
We stay forever.
We stay forever. Yeah, like, mostly forever until we get married.
So it was really weird.
So Polynesian family,
I never thought I'd see them leave. It was different because the life that we all had, we had different childhoods than they did. My younger siblings, we have a completely different childhood than they had. They had a childhood with two parents, and our childhood was solely filled with one parent. It was like that age where like you're really starting to find yourself and grow. That's the age where we lost our dad and everything, and like we like realized like, oh, like he's not gonna make it to like any of those big events for us and stuff like that. So when my brother got the chance and he left, it was kind of just like, I guess I don't want to say this, but like abandonment is kind of how it felt. And everything.
From your perspective, from how you felt.
From my perspective, and like I guess I can't speak for my younger siblings, but I guess they would feel the same way. So for me, working through high school, I went through high school and I just didn't care. I didn't give care in the world about anything. I didn't care about like what my grades were. I didn't care about anything. As long as I was playing sports, that's cool, whatever. As long as I had a barely passing GPA, that's all that mattered. Because there was so much going on outside of school that I just didn't care for, like the school life and everything. My original high school, I went to Rancho Cucamonga High School for 2 years. My freshman and sophomore, I think it was awesome. That school was amazing. But I had a boyfriend at like 15, and that boyfriend, like, it ended up being really hard for my family because it was a toxic relationship, but it was also a relationship I refused to leave because I was too focused on like, oh, he's a good guy, like we fight all the time, but he's a good guy, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
He was a bad guy. Like I'm looking back on it, I'm like, what the hell is wrong with me? Like I spent 2.5 years in a relationship with that person, and it was weird.
Yeah.
But it ended up like I ended up losing the trust of like my family, like my mom and my everything. But it was hard because I was still doing all those bad things. I was doing drugs, I was doing drinks, I was drinking, smoking, doing whatever I can to like fuel that little hole in me. And I was sneaking him into my house. And everything. And it was just a growing period, I guess you can say. But when I was in this relationship, I was planning to move to a different high school, the high school that I lived right next to. It was also the high school this boy went to. But I went and I like tried out for the volleyball team. I ended up making varsity there and everything, and it was awesome. I was like, oh, like this is gonna be so cool. First day of school comes, I get in like the car to go to school, and I get driven all the way over to a different school, and I was like, what is happening? It was basically like I lost my mom's trust, and I understand why she did it now. She moved me to her high school, which is Altaloma. I don't really like that school. Very white school. Not very very white. She worked there for so many years, and she moved me there to keep an eye on me. And I was like, when I got there, I was like, this is so messed up. Like this is so stupid. Like I had a chance at that school, blah blah blah. And she moved me here because she thought I was like gonna be stuck with that boy or whatever. And so then I was like, you know what, like whatever, like you can move me here, nothing's gonna change. I ain't gonna like take care of my grades. I ain't gonna do nothing. Like she's like, you're gonna play volleyball here. I was like, all right, cool, whatever. Play volleyball there. I played volleyball there, but like I didn't care enough to like actually put effort into it anymore. So it was a lot of times like people were like, oh, she's not good, she doesn't play. I'm like, I don't play because I don't care. Like I really don't care anymore. My grades were horrible. I think like one of my math classes, like I had like 20 missing assignments or something. But that's like, I was like, I just don't care. And I was like, but it was weird because she moved me there to keep an eye on me. But the childhood we had, my relationship with my mom is really complicated. I used to say it's a lot better now. It's much better, healthier. But back then it was really difficult because in a way, when my dad died, a part of my mom kind of died as well. I guess you can say like my dad was basically like her ball and chain. Like they were like always together, always like stuck together basically. So when like he died, a part of her died, and it was just like we saw a different side of my mom that my older siblings didn't see. At least I don't think they did. But my younger siblings and I, we had a mom that was there for us like 24/7, and it went from like her being there 24/7 to her not really being there 24/7. She was always gone. She was always working. And it was really weird because one thing that I know for a fact is kids don't spell love as LOVE. They spell it as TIME, as in time. Time is a really crucial thing. And so for me, my younger siblings, it was always like, oh, where's mom? And they were like, oh, I don't know. I was like, well, how are you getting to school? And they're like, she said she's going to Uber us. I was like, okay, cool. She's going to Uber you. I need a permission slip signed. I was like, oh, okay, I can sign it for you. It was weird because I went from being like this quiet middle child to being the older sister slash parent. It was really weird. It was something I really had to adjust to, and it also heightened a lot of my addictions, I guess you can say, my habits. But a lot of times, like, they needed something, I was like, okay, yeah, I can help you with it. Like, I ended up just making sure that my siblings were okay. My younger siblings were okay. My little brother and my little sisters. I see them as like more than just like my younger siblings. I see them as my best friends, basically, because it's always us four. Like, we know what we've been through, we know what we've gone through, and no one else really understands us more than we understand each other. Mm-hmm. But we also fight a lot. All my siblings fight a lot. My little brother, he's gonna be turning 20 this year, but he's like, we're only a year apart, and he's like basically my twin. Seeing him, like, it was really weird because we had weird living situations in high school. So there were 4 of us in high school at one time. I was a senior, my little sisters were freshmen, they're twins, and my brother, he's a junior. We all went to different high schools. And a lot of people would like look at us and they're like, why do you all go to different high schools? Yeah. And I was like, it's weird to explain, but I moved because, of course, my mom was keeping an eye on me. My brother, he ended up going to Rancho and graduating from there all 4 years. And he lived with my aunt at the time. And when I went to Rancho, I also lived with her. But he lived there. And then my little sisters, they split up. And it was like the first time they've ever been split up. Yeah. So one, she goes to a performing arts school. And the other, she ended up going to Alta Loma. She chose to go to Alta Loma with me. So, like, my mom has, like, all these kids in, like, different high schools and stuff, different needs, different everything. And so it was definitely weird being apart from them all the time, but at the same time being together.